no, great times in three. I've done, done a couple of tours of Ireland. How many tours did I do of Ireland there? Three tours of Ireland. I joined the battalion in Belfast on a residential, and it was quite a busy tour. We'd lost quite a few people. A couple of guys on joy rides. We lost three of our couple of guys that were blown up in Mayor Bridge. And then we lost. I'd done the kneeler for a guy called Tony Harrison, who ironically come from Tempower. Was a good, well-respected guy in the battalion. And he went back, and unfortunately, the IRA it caught up with him. He was in a relationship with a young lady, and the IRA done some surveillance on him and ended up murdering him in his flat in Belfast. I was quite lucky I'd done his kneeler, but we done three tours with Three Power. And first tour, like I said, was Belfast. Second was County Tyrone, where we had this. The battalion was absolutely, it was Belfast. We just literally come out of Belfast and they threw us back into Tyrone. We were a different breed, it's more an intelligent war out in the sticks. And we were fucking tough, used to the city boys and, having fucking roll arounds on VCPs and shit like that. The boys would get out of their cars and they wanted to fucking fight with you in Belfast. In Tyrone it was slightly different. And we went quite heavy-handed, like the Paras always do. We stamp our authority across the region, and and we had some instances. My patrol was blown up in a place called Kappa, which is quite prominent on the news at the moment. It was around the same time as the regiment had the attack with the Dushka, and ended up reactive patrols and ended up killing some of the terrorists out there. And it was the same time that we was out there, and a close friend of mine, one of our patrol members who'd been in the battalion 6 weeks, stepped on a pressure pad. Pressure pads are not new things, they're old things. And Alistair Hodgson lost 2 legs and severe injuries. But another paratrooper that through adversity pushed through and ended up being a world champion skydiver. He supports our charity. The guy is a legend. If you go to the rehab centres, the old, I think it's the RMC now and all that sort of stuff, you'll see Alistair plastered all over the walls for the absolute stubbornness of his recovery. He was just a machine, Him and a bloke called Swifty, who was in the Green Jackets, who just lost his legs slightly before Alistair. These guys pioneered, amputees, snowboarding, free falling, all that, and they're still going strong now. Absolute fucking legends, good tour in Tyrone there, and then into North Belfast, where I had a fantastic patrol. I had Mark Reed, who was a good guy, good close friend, still is a close friend, who was a Bath player. Stenty, you might come across Stentyford, who supports my charity now, and we've just sponsored his rugby team who are down in Cornwall now, smashing the rugby tournament as we see. And I had young Brian Budd, when he joined the battalion, come straight into my brick. And Brian was a good boy. Family come from North Belfast, and that's where we were. And I used to get Brian on the pads. We were keen boxers. Some good boxing clubs in North Belfast them times, and we'd go and have a chat with all the boys, and boxing overtook politics or troubles. We just talked about boxing with all the clubs in there. But yeah, we used to stop off up in North Belfast where mentioned not to that there was some family up there. We'd stop off and have a VCP and bride nip in and have a few fucking, have a tea and a coffee and stuff like that, with his family. And then we'd jump back in the VCP, and he couldn't believe it. He was a young guy, just joined the battalion, and we're like, yeah, who gives a fuck? Come on, there was no bullying, no chip on our shoulder. He joined our team. We were a great team, and we worked well together. So fantastic soldier, and obviously won the VC later in life. Ended up still a close mate of ours all the way to the end. But yeah, and that was it. And then I was like, fuck, I better get my aim. A few years, I was going to join the regiment back in '92, and then my career sort of took off. Not took off, but I was in that career drilling duties, junior Bracken, done all that, and I was like, shit, I'm on seniors. I've not even done selection yet, so I was a little bit. I should have done selection '92, and I just didn't do it for some reason. And then I done selection, later on, and yeah, and that was it, mate. And another 6 months of training. Fucking awesome. It was a fantastic training ground. Well, that was an operational deployment, and after what we've alluded to, we lost a lot of people, and it was a very dangerous environment. But it was a bloody good environment to train in, and every battalion, years later when I was with the Rifles in 2009, and we got tasked to go and help out on certain missions to help them out, really, or to support them, not help them out. They were fucking hardcore fucking soldiers, and yeah, and I was just looking at these guys, and I thought, fuck me, they needed a good Northern Ireland tour under their belt, really, because people, and it was the whole of the army, not just the Rifles, every fucking battalion, including the Reg, was fucking focused on a Vallon, focused on a track. They had to walk where the Vallon could fucking clear. And I remember one mission I took them on. It was an ambush, actually, and I said, right, you'll fucking follow me and my guys, and they all fucking I was going to take a platoon ambush out, and it ended up being a company ambush because every fucker wanted to get on it. And we had great, I was like, shit, from platoon to company goes. So now the Overwatch positions become a platoon, not a section. And they're all waiting at the front gate. And I fucking don't worry about the front gate. There's 4 regiment guys, all from different backgrounds. We had the fucking ladders. We got them over the wall. We threw them straight in the fucking paddy fields, straight up the river, Vietnam style, mate. He said, you ain't going to have a chance to use your fucking Vallons with us. And they loved it, proper, just thinking outside the box, and that, it was not us being fucking rude or them being naive. It's just through the experience that we'd all gained through multiple tours in Northern Ireland. And I'd been in Iraq, in Afghanistan 3 weeks after September the 11th, and we'd experienced everything, and we'd fought in all different the Balkans and all that by the time Afghan had kicked off. So this is our experience that we grew on, and we said, like, fucking follow us. I had my lead scout out, and they loved it. Proper fucking soldiering. Get your weapons in your fucking shoulder. You follow us up. We took them up the fucking river, in the creeks, every shithole. That's what we do. We fucking live and patrol in the shit, and we pop out where people don't expect us, and they loved it. And the mission was successful, and they even I just had a couple of young guys that was on my fucking, they're not young anymore, but just my post protection course. They went, fucking Matty, we were with you on that mission, and a couple of rifle guys, and we reminisced. They said it was fucking brilliant night, just getting back to soldiering, isn't it?